Dog fans, welcome to Hunker Down, Impact Media's weekly dive through the hedges into the world of the UGA football squad. I am Jeremy York. He is Jake Skinner. How are you, bud?
I'm here. It's been a week.
It has
Been a
definitely
week
been a week.
already.
It was so far we have had two Mondays this week, and we are looking forward to the third.
Fair enough.
But you were just saying something right before we came on, and I said save it. We may start there. So start with that stat.
Jo Gunner, I'm not going to go with Pugs because he's a backup because he's got one. But right now, Gunner, we're 5 games into the season. We're averaging one passing touchdown a game. Says all you need to know about the season. That's the podcast. Have a good one. Like
Yeah. No, let me. All right. Well, my immediate reaction and question is, does that surprise you?
from what yeah, it actually does because I was hopeful and anticipating Georgia to light it up on the scoreboard. No, I didn't expect us to throw for 40 touchdowns, but I still expected a minimum of three a game, if not, three a game after 12, maybe two and a half. Like I would be fine with 28 to 30. That's kind of where we go. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting here, I'm sitting here looking at this, and we have way too much talent on the offensive side of the ball, especially at wide receiver and tight end,
Yeah.
and we're not producing. Like Noah Thomas, who transferred from Texas A&M to here because he wanted to be the guy, we're not even playing him. He's got 3 receptions in 5 games.
Mm.
He's never on the field at the same time as Colby Young and Zach Branch, our three best receivers. Instead, we're running London Humphreys and Dylan Bell out there every play, who were, by the way, fifth stringers at the others in other places, and shouldn't
Yeah.
be this on the depth chart. That's personnel usage. I'll keep going. It's Mike Bobo's fault. It's that or Kirby's like these guys block and these don't, so I'm going to play these guys.
Could be that.
And if that's the case, then Kirby's lost touch with reality and it's time to move on. Like I'm sorry. At this point, I'll go ahead and jump into saying it that I've got a problem with Kirby this week.
Mm.
Georgia while played a great game, Kirby either he's not willing to cede control of the team and be a CEO and let his coaches coach, or he held on to people this year hoping he could get more talent and see if it would work. And if that's the case, it's failed miserably already. Because if anything, Georgia's talent should be outweighing this, but this Georgia team is what they are. An average team at best on offense because of our quarterback recruiting has been down and has been down lately. We don't know what we're doing when it comes to play calling. We're not throwing the ball with a quarterback who trusts himself. And right now, we're basically playing not to lose. We're back to Mark Richt days. Our defense is the easiest thing to scheme up for. Kentucky schemed us up a few plays. Alabama torched us. Every time Kirby's defenses play a big time opponent, we give up points. There's no hiding the fact. Kirby's the easiest coach to scheme up for these days. We weren't when we had Coach Boom. We had Will Muschamp and even Lanning in the earlier part. Both of them were aggressive and knew how to run the defense. Schumann don't. Schumann is coaching Kirby style defense, but he's just too technical with it. I don't know. I could rant all this podcast. That's what this has become is the Bulldog rant.
Yeah. You mentioned a couple things there, so I want to get to. I was going to mention Dan Lanning's name that you mentioned since Muschamp has not been around, or since Bobo has been around, but yeah, this has been a different style Kirby team since Dan Lanning left for Oregon. So there's a lot to be said for that, and there's a lot to be said for what he's built out there. That was kind of a coach you don't want to lose, but you know you're going to, and he's going to lose. I mean, he's going to leave at some point.
Right.
It
And
doesn't one touchdown a game doesn't that surprise me that much. I was expecting two because I was expecting the run game to be the other 2 to 3 and them score 4 or 5 touchdowns a game. But
right.
we'll go back to the Dan Lanning first because I think it's a bigger point.
Well, I'll just say like Lanning, it was not all on Lanning because we brought in Muschamp the immediate season afterwards and
Mm-hmm.
back-to-back years. Now, this also helps when NIL is not in the forefront of everything and you have first or second round draft picks in your third slot on your depth chart. Okay.
Yep.
That doesn't happen anymore. We see that, we get that, we accept that. But what you can't have is Georgia's defense on third down giving up too many. Obviously, we've already gone over this, how their defense is just absolutely horrendous on this part.
Yeah.
it boils down to like Schumann is. I don't know if he's over his head. I don't know what's going on. Like, yeah, right now we're averaging 40 points per game. Okay, that's not horrible, but the fact of
No.
the matter still looks at it like when you look at the schedule. How have we scored those points? Oh, that's right. We scored 44 to beat Tennessee and had to struggle to get that. We had to struggle against Kentucky at times for 35. We played better the second half, but that first half was tough. And you
Yeah.
beat Marshall, and then Austin P. You couldn't even you barely put 28 points on the board.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm just at a loss with this football team. There needs to be some new voices in that coaching system. It's the same thing I said last week. It was a get right week, but if you need either Muschamp to come back because he could tell Kirby where to stick it while still being his coach and letting him coach because he knew what he was doing, and you go get yourself another offensive coordinator who actually can maximize talent around you because clearly Bobo is being stubborn because I get it. The screen game works. When it's working, it's beautiful. When it's not, we all as fans scream about it. Why is that your play call every third or fourth play? Is a screen pass behind the line. Our quarterback's averaging what, 6 yards average depth or whatever at this point, or seven?
Something like
You
that.
can't win like that. You can't win with your quarterback. What is his averages? His average completion. Yeah, no, excuse me. Average per attempt is 7.9 right now.
Mm.
That's not, and like, not very far. Like, we're averaging just a touch over 10 yards of completion. Just
Okay.
over that. But looking at the quick math. I,
Yeah, and you also talk about, how Kirby like he probably hung on with some guys as opposed to moving on from them or letting them move on, hoping for better results. Well, in that case, if the University of Georgia decides to move on from Kirby, he can always go to the place where coaches like that literally can stay as long as they want, and that's you can coach the Atlanta Braves.
True. Kirby's not leaving. They're not
No,
going to get rid of him.
no,
He's
he's
earned
still one of the
the
best
only way
teams
it
in
would
the
happen is if Georgia goes 8-4, 7-5 this year. You would see some people screaming, and luckily that would cause coaches to get fired, but not Kirby
right.
until he has multiple years of 7-5. If he had back-to-back years of that, then you'd see a drop off. Georgia's too talented for this. We've got too much. The Kentucky game just goes back to show that while Georgia's good, it was a boring week. I watched the first half at Hooters with my friends. We watched the first half of the game, and then the second half, I legitimately drove home, and by the time I got back, I watched every other game because the game was almost over at that point. And once again, Gunner throws for less than 200 yards. I'm looking at the individual stats.
196, but that's still under 200. Yeah, it's kind of a weird number. It's like he's almost afraid to get to that number, or they're afraid he's going to get to that number.
I don't know. It's that. I mean, we were running back by committee. Like I could rant all night about this. It's just It's like watching George at the end of the Mark Richt era. It's that they're better than this, and you're wondering why.
Do you know how many different people got credited with a rushing attempt for Georgia?
9.
Nine. Uh,
By the way, you want how many yards we averaged?
two of
4.4.
those quarterbacks, so those could be scrambles that they gave him credit for, but seven different people got a carry as a running back.
Like Bowens, absolutely. You've seen the pecking order. Bowens has taken over Frazier because Frazier fumbles.
Yep.
I'm okay with that. But not even a 20-yard run the entire game. Like
Nope.
we just couldn't do it. Like you need at least one or two of those a game. Um, and then like, okay, for example, we got like two of them were end arounds to Dylan Bell, and he got touchdowns
Yep.
on both of them. Again, those are end arounds. Those aren't even like pop passes. Like, why are you running an end around? Run a pop pass. Do something.
But still, look, where are they doing the end around? Are they doing that in the middle of the field? No. Are they doing that, backed up
They're
on
doing
the
it at the goal
30? No,
line.
these are all goal line plays because his longest run is 3 yards. So
Two
he
carries
ran
for 6 yards.
15 yards from one side of the field to the other and then ran 2 yards for a score.
Yeah. Frazier had 7 carries. Walker had 3 carries. McCray had 5. They even ran, they ran Bell, then they run Dwight Phillips for a negative 3 yards on one play. Like Peanut is too good. Peanut's got world class speed. Like get him a hole and he's gone.
Mhm.
Why? It's a Kentucky. It's Kentucky. Bama. Dwight Phillips ran on Bama. Why is he not running against Kentucky? Oh, that's right. We're just gonna give him a week off. It's dumb. Like, and Dylan Bell, leading receiver. Where was our best receivers? Colby Young had one attempt, one catch for 9 yards. We didn't go after him. Branch had 4 for 18. I bet they're regretting transferring. I bet they're regretting it.
Probably. And the problem is as much as I really don't like somebody, them moving around every year. Where it's. I heard Lane Kiffin say it the other day, but he's probably the 50th coach I've heard say it. It's the whole moving around every year thing is what's making this so crazy. There's no loyalty. There's no. I grew up wanting to be a UGA Bulldog. I grew up wanting to be an
Hmm.
Auburn Tiger. It's one of those. Oh, who's going to pay me the most, or who's going to let me play the most? And I get that because when you get out of college, that's the way you should approach life is find the better deal for you. But
Right.
in this case, they kind of have to stick it out to the end of the year so they can move again. And I think because of the new rules, I don't know if they can move again.
Uh, most, I think most of them will be going pro with the exception of Thomas. I think he's the only
Mm.
one who has eligibility. And I'll
But
just go ahead
still,
and
I mean,
I'm pointing this out. Our best player on the team, like Ellis Robinson, made a great interception.
hmm
Uh, Defensively, nothing exceptional. We had 2 sacks from one from C.J. Allen and one from Nnamdi Boko. But our MVP for the day, Brett Thorson, one punt, 60 yards. Let's give him
I
the
mean,
MVP because he's the best player on this team at this point.
and not only did it go 60 yards, and not only did he only punt once, which is a nod to the offense too. It was inside the 20.
Truth.
So do the math from there. Let's say at random, because I don't have the exact yardage in front of me, it landed on the 10. Well, then if you move 60 yards out, you see where they punted from, and that's just a ridiculous punt.
Exactly. And like I said, and I apologize, Georgia fans, for being harping. Like, I'm fed up with. It's always tough to watch your team struggle when you know they're so much more talented. It's frustrating. I've adjusted my expectations with this team. Like I said, I'm now expecting a 9-3 year. I do not, going into it, I'll go ahead and jump the gun and say I want to pick Georgia to win this week, but I won't be surprised if they lose it. Like, it's that week. I'm going to pick Georgia every week unless I truly believe they're not going to win a game. And Auburn has not proven anything to me this year, but it's Auburn in Jordan Hare. That just spells disaster to me.
Yeah, and Jordan over there at Jordan Hare when they're going to play there, Auburn tends to play a little better for one. Everybody plays a little better at home, but they are always a kind of tough, scrappy team. That's the way they play Alabama. That's the way they play Georgia. That's kind of the way Kentucky normally plays Georgia. They didn't really do it this week, but Alabama and Auburn are the kind of teams that are going to come in and want to rough you up a little bit and just see what kind of player you really are.
Exactly. It. I mean, going into it, I wouldn't say it's another get right game for Georgia or anything like that,
No, it's
but
a battle.
it's a battle because let's just also point out that Georgia Jackson Arnold for Auburn is he's averaging less than 10 yards of completion right now. He has 5 passing touchdowns. So Auburn feels the pain. They know exactly. But like it's infuriating when you know your team should be that good. Auburn's on a 2-game losing streak to Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Both losses have been 7 points or less. So they're playing tougher. Like you said, it's going to be a battle, and this is going to be another 7-point game, I think, in the end.
Where did Jordan Arnold play before this? Because
Jackson
I feel
Arnold played Oklahoma.
Jackson Arnold, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Wow. So he's boy, what a weird track. He's from Denton, Texas, which, if I'm not mistaken, is near the Dallas Fort Worth area. I could be wrong, but so he went from Denton, Texas, to Oklahoma, now over to Auburn. So if he transfers again, I guess he's going to be a Gamecock.
has to be. He just keeps going east.
He does. I mean, and if he gets another chance, he's going to be Bermuda.
Might be a nice
But no,
spot for him.
he's got decent stats. I mean, I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't really looked at what they really try to do at Auburn. But I mean, that running back they got there's got uh their workhorse has 403 yards
Exactly.
in what 4 or 5 games. I mean, he's averaging
5
100
games.
yards a game. In
Yeah, he's
5 games, so
averaging
he's
about 80 yards
averaging.
a game.
Okay, not bad. Looks like the quarterback runs a good bit. He's got 192,
Hmm.
but he's also the second leading rusher, and they've only got one other guy that's rushed for over 100 yards. So I'll be honest, it looks like Auburn's going to play tough defense, and they're going to try to win this game like 20-17.
That's what they would like to do for sure.
If they get a score fest, this is over quick.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I'm sitting here looking at stats. Like, I'm not asking Georgia to be in that level of, we're throwing the ball for 2,000 and running it for 1,000 right now too. Like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just more in the stance of I knew Gunner was not going to be a big time passer coming into this game. We knew what he was. He was going to run the
Yeah,
ball, but we just needed to move the chains. Watching him throw, it's someone like I've mentioned before, but it's Connor Shaw with Tim Tebow's windup. It's a long windup with
shout
someone
out
who,
Connor Shaw. Bet you didn't think we were going to mention him on this show.
but that's really what he is. And that's not a knock, but like Connor was okay. Gunner is okay. He's just not getting developed and hit throw in motion. I don't know if they thought they could coach it out or what, but
I think you hit on it. I think part of what we're not seeing out of some of the supposed stars that we thought we would is either transfers that aren't getting playing time, and maybe in practice they're getting, maybe they're having bad practices or they're getting out practiced, and so that's why they're lower down the depth chart. We don't know about that,
you know what's
but
sad? As actually
I
those
think part
practice reports, the stars were being stars in practices leading up to the season, and they're not playing all of a sudden. So wait,
so
there's
why
something going
bother
wrong somewhere.
letting them transfer in if you're not going to play them?
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's
This is why I'm harping on it tonight. Like, this isn't, this is just me. Like, it's really down to our best players are not playing, and I'll even say this: it's on defense as well. It's
yeah,
on defense as well because Georgia's defense at this point, we can't get consistent pass rush. It except that this year is a rebuild, and some of our our better players. I'm looking for his name because I'm having that night where it's escaping me. But Chris Cole is one of them. Him and Raylan Wilson, both are doing good. Have a couple of sacks. Wilson is struggling in pass coverage, but CJ Allen's doing better. But I think it's
yeah,
time for us to let CJ and Justin Williams play linebacker and take our lumps where we got to take them. Put Wilson and Chris Cole as your blitzers. I read that today.
okay.
Someone was saying that's at this point, why not put the guys who seem to make a difference when they can get to the quarterback?
Yeah,
Let them be your gunners in the sense of let them just gun after him every play. And then, yeah, as far as any other position, like at this point, like Georgia just has to figure out what they're doing. And I said earlier, they're easy to scheme up. Georgia's defense, and anyone has seen it. Someone said Buster Faulkner was the reason why people saw to do it. It's not. No offense to Buster, who I still would say would be a better coordinator. But the idea is Kirby wants to beat you face man on man. Like that's what he wants. He doesn't want to do anything else. Is I'm going to beat you up front. It's gonna happen. End of the day, I'm just gonna straight up beat you. You can't you can't do that for 4 quarters anymore when you don't have the team that you had in 21. You had a bunch of
yeah,
guys who could bully the man across them so bad that the quarterback threw interceptions and threw caused turnovers, and it made the defense look better because all of a sudden the linebackers were cleaning up and eating tackle, like just eating dudes and tackles and everything else because there was nowhere else to go. Well, now
yeah.
you don't have that luxury, so now you got to scheme it up. Well, guess what? Our guys are still trying to beat you man to man when we don't have those dudes at the moment. They've got to grow, so we're not even playing the freshmen to let them grow at this point. So like at
Yeah,
some
I
point,
mean,
it's not going. They're not going to sit around for 3 years and develop anymore. Okay,
no,
we've got to give them a year, a red shirt, and then a freshman year, 2 years, and then see if they develop. And if they,
yeah,
but at this point, you've got to clean house on the defensive staff, I feel. And you probably need to look at cleaning house on offense, with the exception of two coaches. Our tight end coach, I hope he doesn't leave because that dude can recruit. And you need to probably, I'd say keep him and maybe our wide receiver coach. But then again, if we can find the right one, I'd say go get another one. At this point, you're only keeping maybe two coaches, three coaches, and just go ahead and revamp the whole dang thing. And let your coordinators go hire a coordinator and say, you have free reign on both sides of the ball. Here's my defense and how I want it run. I will back off and let you do your job, but I will step in when I need to. And a coach tell him, let me run my team, my side of the ball. I'm exasperated, dude. I got
You know
nothing
what?
anymore.
You know what that's called though, where a head coach um, basically is the captain of the ship and only steps in when he needs to.
Nick
That's called
Saban, CEO.
Nick Saban. That's how that, and he knows firsthand how to do that. I mean, like you said, I think part of it has to do with Chaz Chambliss is not walking through that door on defense. Long gone are those days. But other than that, I think it's they're not developing them, and maybe they're not emphasizing that they should do it more. Maybe it's just not part of the plan because these kids aren't in here fast enough. If we don't keep their attention fast enough, they're going to transfer to Tennessee or to Florida or to wherever, and they're just trying to satiate them enough to where, hey, please don't leave. Instead of going, no, you should want to be here, and if you don't want to be here, then please go somewhere else. But I think they've got to develop. I really think that's what it is whether it's the coaching staff or whether it's whatever it is, they're not developing the players they have because Gunner should be way more ahead of the game than he is right now. There's no
Hmm.
because if you said, well, we've been developing him the whole time he's here, well, that means he is either just atrocious and is not worth putting the jersey on, or you didn't develop him and you're lying about it. It's one of the two.
Yeah. And I'm just going to point this out too. All right. For example, Nick Saban won two titles with Kirby Smart as his, well, he won two titles with Jim McElwain. We all know how that guy was weird. He won four titles with Kirby there, a defense. Won one with Doug Nussmeier as his, that was the
Where's Nussmeier now?
2012 game. Nussmeier?
Is he the head coach
Doug,
somewhere?
uh,
He's somewhere.
hold
I heard
on.
his name the other day.
The Saints.
That's where he's at. I knew I heard he was
Yeah.
somewhere. That's what it was. I was
Yeah.
having a discussion with some New Orleans natives. That's where I heard his name.
Gotcha. And see, then he won the title that in 15, Kirby's
Hmm.
last year with Lane Kiffin. And then he won a title in 17 with Mike Loxley and Brian Dable as co-coordinators on offense.
Oh, Brian Dable. I remember him. Yeah.
And then he won one more. He won his last one with Steve Sarkisian. So what does that tell you? He kept things rolling and multiple titles, no matter who the coaches were. Another thing that tells you is when you can CEO and you can say, here's the ship, here's how we're going to run it, here's every little detail, and here's the blueprint we've got to win a title. My coaches are going to coach. I'm going to oversee the things, and I'm going to be on the mic yelling at players because that's my job is to oversee and let them do their thing and go, I don't like that. Here's how you want to do this. And look at the coach and go, I'm going to tell them how to do this. Go ahead. But I, I'm at a loss at this point because at what point is Georgia going to make a change? Because they've got to at some point make a change.
And there's not a high profile guy. If he were to do that, to go after a high profile guy who was trying to reinvent himself or trying to get back on it the way Saban seemed to rehabilitate so many people like that. I mean, the only name that comes to mind from the level above this that might be out of a job by the end of the year is John Harbaugh. And first off, he ain't coming to Georgia, and second off, he's a special teamer. So that's outside of that,
Yeah,
you're going to have to start digging around to find
you're going
who
to
the
have to.
next big people are.
You've got to do something because the best way I can describe it is Georgia wants to be a power run team. That's where the ground is built. So that basically limits you that you need someone who looks to runs to throw. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and but yeah, can put up that kind of an offense. I mean, I'm just gonna say it like a team that coach Koltenicky from Penn State ain't leaving for here. Okay,
No.
and I'm not saying I don't know if he's the problem or if that's a James Franklin. I don't even know if I want to trust that, but like you need someone who's willing to coach that way and like I mean, even like Mike Denbrock from Notre Dame has done better with that. Um,
But still, once again, that guy's not leaving Notre Dame for Georgia. And it's not that Georgia's a lesser program. It's just like, no, when you're kind of when you're already on the penthouse, you don't start skipping rooms. You usually stay where you're at. These are going to be somebody who needs either that nudge up or has fallen and needs that leg back up.
right. And see, I'd like to see like Ben Arbuckle from Oklahoma come in to be the coordinator, but he's not leaving because he'll be a head coach before long. Like he's
Yeah.
doing great out there. Like I'm sitting here looking at all the different ones, like
Well,
Jason
and
Beck. Mm,
I would talk about Jesse Minter's defense, but he's already in the NFL, and he's only going to go up from here because I've known of that guy and met him a handful of times since Georgia State days and Michigan and all the places. And as good a defensive coordinator as he is, once again, he's already on the NFL level. Why in the world
yeah,
would he come back down?
exactly. Well, we got a couple minutes left in this thing, so I know we spent most of it with me ranting about coaching again, and I'm going to try to tone it down next week, fans. Just because y'all don't want to hear me rant every week about this.
Maybe
But
they do.
again, and maybe they do. If y'all like it, let me know. But yeah, so going forward, Georgia's playing at Auburn. Um, Yippee-ki-yay. Not gonna finish that statement. Um, and let's see, Georgia plays on the three-letter network yet again, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. I'll take Georgia by 3, 24-21, and I hope they prove me wrong
At
in a good
24,
way.
21.
Yep,
Okay. Making some sort of note of that. We're terrible at keeping up with stuff.
we really
Um,
are.
yeah, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I agree with you there. I think Georgia does get it done because at the end of the day, their defenses are probably a wash, and we just proved that Auburn can't really score the way Georgia can. So Georgia's probably going to win this. I'll give them a few more points than that. I'll say 27-20. I think Auburn's that's right around about what both these teams are probably going to do. It would be nice to see Georgia score twice that. I doubt it. It'd be nice if they hung 40 on Auburn, but I just
I don't
don't
think it.
see it. I don't think it's going to happen. Georgia, be glad that Georgia fans be glad they're still winning, uh, because they've got a little bit of a rough stretch coming up, and that's when these are the games you need to. It's fine to get some of those guys reps, but these are the games you really got to get the engine moving because if you're not if you're not moving fast enough down the track, you're going to get stopped when you get here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, true, true. Um, so we'll move into our picks. You want to give us two games?
Yeah. Um, you know what my off the board was probably going to be. So, you know what? No, I'm going to homer out on both. I'm going to homer out with two teams that I have kept up with for a long time outside of Georgia. Give me number 15 Michigan at USC. This is a Big Ten game for people who don't believe me. I promise you, USC is in the Big Ten. I believe they are. Um, this is a big game. It's NBC 7:30. It's going to be going head to head with the Georgia Auburn game, and unless you're a diehard Georgia or Auburn fan, you're probably going to be watching this game instead. I know I will have it on in the booth where I will be calling a hockey game, but that is a different thing. I think Michigan's going to win it. I think it's going to be it's going to be higher scoring than this. 34-24, something like that. Michigan. I got Michigan winning.
Yeah, I'll take Michigan on that one too. I mean, basically they're relying on USC's just relying on basically their running back Jordan and Lemon Makai Lemon to be the receiver. If Michigan can do what Michigan does, they'll limit those two pretty quickly. I mean, I don't see how they don't. I don't see how they don't win this game. I mean, it's Michigan. It's Michigan against a big opponent, and Michigan's had a rough patch to start the year, but I think they're starting to come into stride now.
Yeah, once again, rough patch at 4-1. So I like that. I would agree it's a rough patch, but to be 4-1 and have the beginning they have, I think they're doing just fine.
Besides,
Second
the
game
only
I
time
got,
I'll say this real quickly, the only reason
yeah,
why they lost that Oklahoma game is because Oklahoma's defense is unreal right now because their head
yeah.
coach said I'm calling plays again. USC can't. I mean, that's what Michigan lost. USC. Who did USC lose to? I mean that's why they lost. They lost to Illinois by 2, and they've not
Mm.
faced a true defense yet. So that's why I say Michigan. I'll take them on that one.
Even though for some reason they're a slight dog. Number 21 Arizona State at Utah. That is the 10:15 game. That's the one I will probably be listening to on the way home from said hockey game. Um, I'm going to homer out on Arizona State. I have been an Arizona State fan since high school because you'd always get home late on a Saturday, and Hawaii and Arizona State were always on television. So
Yep.
I just gravitated to them, and I'm going to homer out a little bit. Utah is the favorite, but I think Arizona State can get it done.
Oh yeah, I'll kind of just go in step with you this week. Arizona State all the way. From my two this week, try not to do. I will mention it, but I think the Indiana at Oregon at 3:30 on CBS could be a fun one. I'll take Oregon on that one just because I think Oregon looks legit this year. Indiana is a fun team that's kind of surprising everybody. They're ranked number 7, so that's a huge game.
Yeah. Um, I'll take the Dan Lannings in that one. Oregon at home, wearing their 75th different type jersey for the year. Uh, Lannings just got them playing really well. They
Hmm.
always flirt with a national title pretty much every year he's been there. Um, there's a real good shot, Georgia fans, that you don't want to face him in the playoff because I
Uh-oh.
think he will send you home.
Yeah. Uh, I'm debating on this one. I'll go SEC for the last one.
Okay.
Bama and Missouri. Give me Missouri as the crazy pick because it's at home, they're ranked, and Bama struggles on the road unless that team is Georgia.
So you were taking Missouri. I thought about picking that game just for that sake because it's sneaky good and not because 4-1 versus 5-0 because these teams are about the same as far as they're in the same level.
Hmm.
Um, I would love to see the upset, but just for the sake of us not homering out on everything, give me Alabama on the road, figuring this out on a noon kickoff. I'm going to say maybe Missouri's not awake for the first
Yeah.
half, and and uh, and Alabama's going to come ready to play.
Yeah, that's a solid pick. This is more wishful thinking.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely agree. I would love to see Alabama lose again, but I don't know. Every time I doubt Alabama, I get crushed for it. So I'm just going to go with Alabama this time.
Fair enough.
But hopefully you follow along with our picks at home, and if you don't, that's okay. Maybe we'll actually post them at some point. I do have we have them all written down all around both studios that we use. We just for some reason have never decided to put them together and actually post them.
That's very true.
But so we got 2.5 minutes left, so I want to throw this out. Happy opening day for the NHL. We're gonna do some
Hmm.
board check later on tonight, or at least I'm gonna do it. Um, do you have the Lightning's your team, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just been it for years, back before they won a title, back when Vinny LeCavalier was there.
That's I remember those heydays as well. For people who don't know, not only do we cover Nashville and Carolina for board check, my teams are actually the Maple Leafs and the Vegas Golden Knights. So I am all over the board in this. But if you guys want our hockey coverage, of course, it will be later on tonight. Any parting words before we get out of here?
Uh, Hold on, Georgia fans. It's the next few weeks are going to be is it grab your I forgot to say it, but basically kiss your butts because you're gonna have to do something here. Don't kiss your butts
Bend,
goodbye.
bend over, grab your knees,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. That's I
Before
did.
we get out of the PG-13 realm.
Yeah, just it's gonna be a rough few weeks, I believe. We're just gonna have to fight through it. So just bear with it. It's the best way I can say it.
Bear with it. Yeah, I like that.
It's
And
a it's a long year.
make sure this week you don't feel the all burn.
There you go.
And that means we're at the end of the show because if this gets any worse, we're going to have even worse lines than that. So
Oh
for Jake
yes.
Skinner, I am Jeremy York. This has been another edition of Hunker Down. We will see you guys next week. Deuces, gooses, go dogs.
Go dogs.